Yet another Brexit deadline missed this weekend, and said now that the French side, specifically President Emmanuel Macron of France, said to be relying on a Boris Johnson cave-in terms of these negotiations. And this all going on, of course, amid the backdrop of France blocking all lorry freight from the UK in what has been described by one veteran journalist as something of a hostile act. Going to bring you all the very latest. As ever, guys, please make sure you've hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss future reports. I bring you all the very latest here on the West Monster channel. Now, of course, the European Parliament MEPs had set out a deadline of Sunday by which they wanted to see a deal progress. Yet another deadline. Of course, we've seen them time and time again during this process come and go. Before I get on to specifically what is being said about the French side, I just want to bring you up to speed on the very latest on these negotiations, because what we've heard is that in terms of the EU offering on fisheries, and of course we previously heard they were offering us 15 to 18% of what is rightfully ours. Well, it now seems that the EU offer has gone up to 25% of catch. That's right. After all of this time still, we're looking at only being offered a quarter of what is rightfully ours in British waters. And it's said that the UK side is asking for 60%. Overall, well, the Sun are reporting that one UK source quoted as saying a landing zone is there for a deal, but it could take the rest of the year to get there. And those of you, again, who follow the channel know my concerns that if a deal is done now, right at the very last moment, what level of scrutiny can be put on a 600-page plus document when it is rushed and rammed through at such rapid speed? Now, of course, we're not there yet. There is no deal done. And as I'm going to get onto in a minute, it seems that the French side, Emmanuel Macron, relying on our PM caving in. But the Sun story, quoting someone else, is saying we have made clear that we can carry on talking past Christmas and wrap this up and get it through our parliament in a day. That's what one source quoted as saying in the Sun story, in a day. So this has some road to go yet. So in other words, negotiations are going to continue even after Christmas. Of course, with the transition period finishing at the end of December. Of course, last night, we found out that France is blocking lorry freight from the UK as part of a travel ban. And the Telegraph, with this story, Emmanuel Macron told he's making a massive miscalculation that UK will negotiate next year. The French president has been accused of risking a no-deal Brexit. And we've heard it time and time again, haven't we? The French taking a very hard line on fisheries, which ironically, under a no deal, the UK will have full control of its waters. But really it seems that the French side on this are counting on Boris Johnson essentially backing down. As the Telegraph report, Emmanuel Macron has been accused of risking a no-deal Brexit by making a massive miscalculation that Britain will be forced back to the negotiating table in the new year. Downing Street believes Macron is standing in the way of a deal because he is playing to his domestic audience ahead of elections in 18 months' time. Negotiators believe that Macron is gambling on the theory that no deal will be so unpopular in Britain that Boris Johnson will cave in and accept Brussels' current offer within weeks of leaving the single market and customs union on the 1st of January. But senior government sources have dismissed the idea as fantasy and insisted that it makes no sense to reject a deal now, only to accept it weeks later. One source quoted as saying by the Telegraph, if we leave without a deal, there will inevitably be criticism of the government, even though the Prime Minister has made it clear we will thrive either way. Why on earth would we go through that if we intended to go back to Brussels, cap in hand a few weeks later and accept a deal we've already rejected? If Emmanuel Macron thinks that's what is going to happen, then he's made a massive miscalculation. Now, of course, I know the overwhelming sentiment in the comments here, certainly on this channel, is that you want a clean break. You've had enough of the insulting EU offers. You want to walk away with no deal. As Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister himself said, you know, under no deal we can do as we please. There is no level playing field. There is no EU rule book. There is full, complete freedom. But it seems to me certainly that at least on the French side, the EU anticipate Boris Johnson caving in. Let me know in the comments if you think that is going to happen or not. And a UK government source also quoted as saying, unfortunately, in terms of the EU's overall approach and thinking, unfortunately, the EU are still struggling to get the flexibility needed from member states and are continuing to make demands that are incompatible with our independence. We cannot accept a deal that doesn't leave us in control of our laws or waters. Now, of course, I'll go back to it again. We had the development last night that France is blocking lorry freight from the UK as part of a travel ban, with journalist Simon Jack tweeting, France blocks lorry movements from UK for 48 hours due to COVID strain alarm. Government caught off guard by this. Ministers and officials just beginning to assess the situation. This was last night. Department for Transport in charge tonight will be a cabinet office meeting convened. And he went on to make the point that although freight coming from France is allowed through, haulage chief says many will be reluctant to make the crossing to UK if they can't get back there, given there is already congestion. And the Port of Dover putting out this tweet last night, ferry terminal at the Port of Dover is closed to all accompanied traffic leaving the UK until further notice due to border restrictions in France. Now, a few reactions to that. Euroguido saying, fancy that. Bruno Waterfield of The Times, a veteran journalist, something of a hostile act this. And Nigel Farage, not very impressed whatsoever, responding to this by saying, we are dealing with thugs and bullies who want to make us sign a bad deal. Time to walk away. To hell with the EU. Also going on to say, fog in channel, continent cut off. This should make no deal easy. One Conservative MP who certainly wants to walk away now is Conservative MP Andrea Jenkins, who has tweeted, after of course missing yet another deadline, no more talking or move deadlines. Let's just leave without a deal. The EU will soon come running back begging for one. Hashtag no deal Brexit. Hashtag global free trade. So, of course, guys, so little time now in terms of the transition period and these negotiations that have gone on and on and on. I think we should have walked away quite a way back now. Let me know what you think in the comments, but it certainly seems like the EU's approach is based on Boris Johnson caving in at some stage. I want to know from you, do you have faith in Boris Johnson to hold firm? Do you think a deal's going to be done now? And of course, if a deal is done, very little time for scrutiny before the end of the transition period. Love to know your thoughts, guys. And as ever, if you found this report helpful and informative, please do help me out by hitting the thumbs up button. Would really appreciate that. And of course, you can support my work by hitting the join button down below. See the link in the top pinned comment there to become a member of the channel. Would really appreciate your support. And of course, guys, as ever, thanks for watching.